Well, hello, and hey, thanks for checking out my YouTube channel. I am the Not Quite Reverend Ron Peterson, and I will explain that title. I'm a minister in the United Church of Christ. I'm what is known as a licensed minister as opposed to an ordained one. And there are several differences between these designations, but I will only focus on two. First, as a licensed minister, I'm lower on the what we call the ecclesiastical pecking order. Ordained here, I'm kind of down here. And as such, number two, I cannot be called reverend. That is a title held specifically by ordained clergy. So I am a minister, but I'm not quite a reverend, okay? That noted, for decades, we've seen declining church attendance and membership in the United States. Bluntly put, churches are dying. They're closing at the rate of about 100 to 200 a week, and my church is going to be a likely casualty if I want to face reality here. And that might sound like kind of dismal, and I guess it is, but there's a certain empowerment in embracing the reality of expecting that you're going to die. And it's something that Jesus himself showed us. The Gospels tell of Jesus' determination to journey to Jerusalem to confront the religious authorities there over their corrupt practices, especially over their collaboration with the Roman Empire. This is a key point to remember because I'll be returning to it in future posts as it relates to churches collaborating with worldly powers in the American Empire, okay? Now, he did this knowing they would execute him for it. He accepted and even embraced the fact that he was going to die as a result of his actions. He believed he believed that much, though, in the truth and power of his message, valuing it above his own mortal existence and trusting the rest to God. And that's an example that the Christians really need to bear in mind, right? Once in Jerusalem, the first thing Jesus did was enter the temple, the seat of the center of religious authority and power, to overturn the tables of the money changers, a pretty famous story from the Gospels. Reasons for this require lengthy discussion beyond our scope here, so I'll just say it was an intentionally provocative act, one he knew that would offend people. And so we might surmise from this he was not reverent in his approach to speaking truth to power, and neither should we be when spiritual, ethical, and moral situations require aggressive actions. Hence the not quite reverent with the T at the end of reverent. I am not reverent in title. I don't intend to be reverent in my approach to some of these subjects. That said, one of the things pastors are notoriously reluctant to do is speak out on what appear to be political matters. And notice my phrasing there, what appear to be political matters. I'll be explaining that in a moment. We don't want to risk saying anything that may offend political sensitivities of those in our congregations. Like, we're already bleeding enough members. Why risk losing even more, right? But if we embrace the idea that we're dying anyways, that particular apprehension no longer holds any power over us. We realize there are far more important issues for us to face than our own institutional survival. So my attitude, hey, we're dying anyways, we may as well raise a stink about something. And what I want to raise a stink about is an easy and obvious spiritual topic. That would be truth. More specifically, the importance of truth over lies. You know, Christians profess to follow Jesus. So this should be pretty basic. After all, Jesus told us the truth will set you free. So this should be a no-brainer, right? It's a pretty easy call. It's almost a slam dunk, right? That said, now for some practical applications of this Christian spiritual principle. This past week, the January House Select Committee revealed a bunch of lies and misinformation that our former president and his allies designed to mislead the public. Remember how I said pastors are reluctant to address what appear to be political issues? Yeah, this is one of those things. Lies are more a spiritual matter than a political one, but we're used to looking at our problems through a political lens. But as I said, truth is a spiritual topic. It's not political, as is the importance of truth over lies. Again, pretty basic if you follow Jesus. A no-brainer, an easy call, a slam dunk. And just because it's a political figure doing the lying, it does not make this more complicated. It doesn't move it from the realm of the spiritual to the political. This is a deeply spiritual problem and becomes even more problematic when it affects an entire populace. Jesus, again, said the truth will set you free. Activist Gloria Steinem added to that, but first, it will piss you off. Not quite reverent. Anyways, that's exactly why ministers avoid talking about it. They don't want to anger their parishioners. But we don't have a luxury with this issue, right? There's too much at stake for our nation, and I would add probably for our churches as well. If we believe what Jesus said, the truth will set you free, then we must seriously ask, then what do lies do? What do lies do, and what are the motives of those who would tell us those lies? And while politicians are dealing with the political concerns of those lies, as a minister, I will be looking at the actions of the former president and his enablers through a scriptural and a spiritual lens. Enablers would be the media outlets, the congresspeople, the lawyers, evangelical Christians, whomever. I hope you'll join me. Next time around, I'll be discussing Donald Trump, Fox News, and what I call sin number 9. Hope to see you then.